A couple of things to note before this episode begins. I'll only do this once every 10 to 15 episodes, but make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you've liked my series so far. I'm so very close to that milestone 1000. And though I don't have this YouTube channel with the intent of having like a million subscribers, I think that the more feedback I get, the more community we have, the better a rewrite I can make. I've said it before, but if anyone ever makes a suggestion that I deem better than what I've planned, then I'll actively make the change and credit the appropriate person for it. I won't retcon anything. But for future developments, I always look to all of you for inspiration. I might be the pilot, but you're the crew that built my plane. You get to decide whether it has propellers or jets. Moving on. I intend to display all strategies and techniques that you would expect, abilities that these genin would not hesitate to use. After all, should they fail in any way, they're prevented from moving on. So the idea of keeping tricks hidden away for a later, more opportune time doesn't make sense. With that out of the way, let us return to Sasuke standing over Akane's body. Reaching down, Sasuke picks up the Free Hell Scroll. It's heavy in his hands, different in feeling from the Earth Scroll they already have. Slipping it in his pack, he turns back to his outnumbered allies and sprints to join them. These are the same grass ninja as we see in canon, except Orochimaru is not masquerading as one of them. Sasuke doesn't give himself the time to assess the situation as the grass begin to flank his friends. Neji is grappling with one who has caught his hands mid-strike. Leaping into the air, Sasuke throws a kick behind Neji's head, who ducks at the last second. This gives Sasuke an unguarded strike squarely in the grass ninja's face. Neji breaks from the recoiling ninja's grip and regroups with Shikamaru. Sasuke twirls in midair to properly land on his feet. Before landing, he also chucks several shuriken at the other two ninja to keep them off balance. Forming a protective semicircle around Shikamaru, Sasuke and Neji keep their attention on the two trying to flank. To keep the third ninja busy, Sasuke conjures an instant boulder that launches at him. This is one of the jutsu that Sasuke has copied and requires no hand seals to perform, though it still pulls chakra. Though Neji's able to see attacks from all directions with his Byakugan, Sasuke cannot. At several points throughout the fight, Shikamaru extremely briefly takes control of Sasuke. In these briefest of moments, Shikamaru tweaks Sasuke's stance to allow him to avoid strikes from behind. He's extremely careful in these moments because control for too long can totally disrupt Sasuke's flow. The grass ninja utilize several variations of earth jutsu to keep the ground uneven. They also throw balls of mud or rocks at Team 7 to wear them down at distance. Team 7 is unable to mount an offensive while defending against the onslaught of ninjutsu. So, Neji pulls out a scroll and releases its contents. A fount of water surges from the ground and towards the grass ninja in all directions. Everyone adapts to the change in environment as both sides leap to stand on the surface of this water. A second scroll unfurls and Neji shouts to Sasuke to bring out his clan's greatest ninjutsu. In unison, Sasuke and Neji both conjure a great spitfire of flame and a huge conical blast. Some fire hits the water's surface and produces small explosions of steam. Other fire hits trees and plant life, creating smoke. Yet more fire shoots overhead, preventing the grass ninja to leap to safety. A smattering of mist and smoke cloud their battlefield, and the water keeps their footing insecure. With the grass ninja hesitating on their next action, Sasuke closes fast and quickly outmaneuvers one. His technical taijutsu makes it easy for Sasuke to weave around and through their defenses. Every time they reach for a weapon, Sasuke knocks that hand away. Anytime they attempt a counterstrike, Sasuke tries to lock the punch in a submission to break their arm. Forced on a pure defensive, the grass ninja backs away from Sasuke. Overwhelming the grass ninja, Sasuke lands a clean, square uppercut, completely knocking the grass ninja out. Meanwhile, Shikamaru manages to pin the lone ninja in a shadow weave. The water has distorted shadows just enough to make it difficult for both sides. As light bends through the water, his shadows dance on the ground as if he were drunk. But equally, the grass ninja cannot tell how fast or accurately where the shadow's coming from. Neji's fire overhead creates stark shadows, however, allowing Shikamaru to get creative. Fingering 3 kunai with smoke bombs attached, he lobs them in quick succession high overhead. They're varying distance from one another with the light of fire overhead to create distinct points of shadow. These points survive the water's refraction of light. These circles of shadow also create perfect points for Shikamaru to connect the dots, maintain his aim, and capture the ninja. As the jutsu completes, the kunai fall back down and the smoke bombs go off. This masks and at least visually separates the remaining grass ninja from each other. Meanwhile, since the scrolls were made ahead of time, Neji is no lighter on chakra reserves than before. While his fire was spewing forth, he took the opportunity to close to his nearest foe. Unlike with the first ninja, Neji successfully lands several gentle palm strikes. Crippled quickly, the ninja loses the ability to concentrate into his feet and sinks into the water. Slowed, he can no longer leap to a distance as Neji finishes him off with several more strikes. Nodding at each other, Team Kakashi reunite beside Shikamaru. With a united front, Sasuke and Neji strike at the last grass ninja stuck by shadow possession. Though there was considerable effort in taking the grass ninja down, none of them received any injuries. With a reminder from Shikamaru, they search the grass ninjas' bodies for their scroll. Uncovering it, Team Kakashi is dismayed that the grass ninja also had an earth scroll. On the other hand, Sasuke unveils the hell scroll that his cousin was carrying. Neji smiles at the realization, voicing that he had concerns about finding one. Shikamaru suggests that they find cover to rest a little and eat something before carrying on. As they turn to go, Sasuke's ears quiver and he looks to his right. He was sure that he heard the familiar high tone of metal striking metal. The forest is so thick that fights could be happening a stone's throw in any direction and no one would have a clue. While trying to enjoy a snack outside the forest, Anko is approached by a companion, Jonin. He reports to her that there are suspicious individuals around the other side of the forest, looking in. Ditching her break, she sprints with the Jonin to discover why they're there. As the 4 individuals come visible, but still too small to tell who they are, Anko watches as they dash into the forest. Cursing, she tells the Jonin to watch over the forest in her stead, because now she has to do a full investigation. The forest is outside Konoha's south walls, and remarkably close to Lord Orochimaru's lab. Anko sprints there to ask Orochimaru for aid. As a former student of Orochimaru, Anko knows how to sidestep Orochimaru's various securities that kept the average person out. Once inside, it's no time at all before she finds her former sensei. Though Orochimaru tries to greet her kindly, news that the Chunin exams have potential intruders sour his mood instantly. She hears him curse Jiraiya, who's supposed to be in charge of local security at the moment. He reminds her that there are 3 Kage in the village right now. They can't afford to let intruders in and appear weak for it. She agrees with him and asks what their next move is. He tells her to go to the Hokage's office and, discreetly, let him know of what's happened. In the meanwhile, Orochimaru will make sure the intruders are swiftly taken care of. Irritated that Orochimaru has sent her on some messenger detail, Anko dashes into the village. Depending on who the intruders are, they could be assassins from another village. They could also be Leaf Chunin or Jonin trying to relive their glory days. Regardless, an intrusion must be treated as exactly that, a substantial problem. Once she makes it to the front doors, she need only signal to the Anbu and they let her pass without a word. They know that Anko should be at the forest. For her to be here is emergency enough. I've always assumed that ninja who want to be silent have a full range of hand gestures that they could use to maintain their quiet and still communication. When she gets to the door of the meeting, she knocks and waits. An Anbu answers the door and she passes him a note for the Hokage. A few excruciating moments pass before Minato comes to the door and shuts it behind him. Urgently, Anko tells him that there are invaders in the forest. She's let Lord Orochimaru know and he's going to deal with it. Minato shrugs at her and asks what she needs him to do. He seems visibly annoyed, though perhaps not at her. Anko sags a little, annoyed again with Orochimaru. Of course Minato wouldn't want to deal with this news right now. She apologizes to him and assures him that she'll deal with it. And so we shift focus once more to Orochimaru as he walks through the forest of death. His right hand is covered in blood as he walks away from the corpse of a stone ninja. It's curious to him that they thought this was a wise decision. Perhaps the legend of the Sannin's strength has diminished over time. He can't wait for these stupid Chunin exams to be over so he can go crazy in the war. It would be the perfect opportunity to refresh fear in the enemy's eyes. Landing nearby, Jiraiya nods at Orochimaru after glancing at the body behind. Conferring, he tells Orochimaru that he took another down himself. That leaves just 2 stone ninja to take out. Orochimaru tells him that he's already found the third and will seek him out right away. All these intruders need to be taken care of before they can interact with any of the participating genin. Meanwhile, Choji, Sakura, and Shino sit atop a high branch of a tree. They're formulating their strategies on how they want to fight for the Heaven Scroll. Should they use hit-and-run tactics? Should they attempt to steal the scroll? Or would they find themselves in a head-on fight? Sakura is also going through more of the data books they were given. After flipping through the 4 ninja, she decides to go through the Leaf Ninja to see if any new abilities have been learned. While Choji insists that he's good to go and able to perform in a brawl, Sakura raises an eyebrow. The page about Choji lists him as a ninjutsu specialist, but she was sure that he was a taijutsu specialist. She thinks to ask him the question, but she hasn't seen him so animated since before his incident at the border dispute. Shino thinks if they can steal a scroll without fighting, that should obviously be their course of action. He's okay with a fight himself, he just doesn't want to fight because that's what they think is expected of them. He reiterates that they were given the permission to do anything possible to get the scrolls, and that must include stealing them. Add to the fact that they have no idea what's coming next after the Forest of Death's completion. If they have to do anything that puts strain on their chakra, then he'd rather conserve now. Choji complains that Shino's no fun, clearly trying to pump himself up for a fight. Shino reassures Choji that with the chakra bees as a new addition to his arsenal, Shino wants more than anything to see how they perform. He's managed already to blend the venom of a couple of his bugs to create a slight paralytic effect, but Shino's yet to practice against a real target. However, he's also patient and would rather wait for a fight that they couldn't avoid, rather than a fight that they for some reason wouldn't avoid. Sakura turns to her own page and notices that it's like Choji's, listing her as a ninjutsu specialist. As the realization dawns on her, she leans toward the group to inform them that the books are a lie. As they mutter amongst themselves, a shadowy assailant suddenly leaps up from behind and strikes the branch of the tree with a mighty surge of lightning. The branch disintegrates in the explosion of electricity. And that's where I'm going to end it today. Yes, this episode's a little bit shorter than what I normally do, but Friday is going to be insane, so it should make up for it. Not insane in length, insane in content. So a little bit about Anko. She was still taught by Orochimaru in my rewrite, but she doesn't have that disdain for him that she does in canon. I think she hates him because he's a traitor to the village, more than because he was a bad teacher to her. And so in this retelling of events, she has far less reason to dislike him. This also leads into the curse mark. Does the curse mark still exist? And has Orochimaru inflicted it on others? Yes, it still exists, and yes, Anko has it as a quote-unquote gift from Orochimaru. However, that was one of many other practices of his that the third Hokage put a stop to, so she was one of very few people who received the curse mark. She also doesn't really know how to utilize it, as the program was shut down very quickly after she got it. Orochimaru also made it clear to her that once she agreed to have it, she couldn't take it away. There's so much going on in the next episode that it might be a Saturday release. I know I'm calling that way ahead of time, but it's definitely the most crazy episode I'll have made so far. I'll try my bestest to get it all out on time though. Until then, the sky's the limit.